Article 13, Article 11, and how they caused the adpocalypse. If you don't want to be penalized, you might want to stick around. Welcome back to Platform News, you guys. My name is David Snyder, and if you are a creator that wants to stay on top of what's happening on your platform, go ahead and subscribe so you stay notified. Taking a page out of Motivation Theory's handbook, go ahead and toss into the comments a hashtag new if this is your first time on this channel. If this is not your first time, then I want to apologize because this is a bit of a serious one. Seriously. So creators have been on the interweb saying that Article 11, Article 13, and all these different things, Adpocalypse included, heralding the end of YouTube as we know it. Wow. And not only are they saying that, but they are blaming the platforms themselves for all the issues that have cropped up. But guys, let's be honest here. YouTube really isn't the bad guy on this one. And let me just say that I don't think there's any one entity that can be listed as the bad guy. Let me explain. But before we do that, let's make this video a little bit easier for you guys. It's a little bit of a long one, so if you're interested in Article 11 and what that means to you and the platform, go here. If you're interested in Article 13 and what that means for you and YouTube and just interwebs in general, you want to go right here. The Adpocalypse and how those two articles made it happen, right here. Oh, and at the end, I am going to go over tips on how you can avoid getting any community guideline issues. If you're interested in that, go here. Okay, back to it. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about Article 11, what that means and how it impacts you. Article 11 specifically tackles news agencies and the metadata copyright issues that sometimes brings up. Now, this led to the EU issuing what they are calling a link tax, which means that news agencies can charge the platform. Now, I'm not talking about creators being charged. I'm not talking about Facebook, now charging for their service or YouTube charging for their service. What I'm talking about is the platforms themselves are subject to this link tax. And this is how it works. When you share a link from a news agency and that news agency has a presence in Europe, they now have the ability to contact the platform itself and demand some compensation due to the fact that they own the rights to the titles and the metadata, which for many news agencies is a subscriber-only content for people that use those websites, and so they want compensated for it. Now, from a news agency's perspective, let's just assume for a second that you own that news agency. That kind of makes sense, especially if you're making that content only available to paid users. The downside to that is the platform has to be careful, and they crack down on people doing that, or they're going to rework how the metadata is being displayed. So Article 11 impacts the platforms more than the creators, but when the platform itself is being impacted, then the creators feel the brunt of that, and this really takes us into Article 13. Article 13 goes more in depth on copyright law, and this really impacts creators in a few major ways. Before Article 13 even happened, how it worked was a owner of a copyright, if something is being used, would have the ability to garner ad revenue from the creator that used the copyright material, which is still available, by the way. Or they could request that the channel itself could get a strike, that content specifically can be taken down, or even the YouTube channel could be deleted. Article 13 takes it a little bit further, where not only is the content creator liable, but so is the platform. And let's say if YouTube, for example, did not react to a video that has copyrighted material in a certain amount of time, YouTube could then be sued by the owner of the copyright material. So on one hand, you have Article 11 that levies a link tax to platforms that have users that are sharing content from news agencies. On the other hand, you have Article 13 that is threatening platforms with lawsuits if they don't react harshly and quickly enough to copyrighted material. Now, before you click away, I'm not done yet. Believe it or not, we still have to talk about the adpocalypse. To better explain why I believe the adpocalypse is directly a result of these two articles, I need you to come down a road with me just a little bit. So close your eyes with me. Let me get all ASMR on you. So go ahead and close your eyes. Imagine for a second that you own a business with hundreds, if not thousands of employees that rely upon you for their year in and year out livelihood. Now let's imagine that the entire European Union just told you that if there's any copyrighted material on your platform, you could be sued. Now imagine that you have over 1 million people using your platform and they are sharing links to news agencies that now have the ability to impose a link tax. And then on top of all of it, keeping your eyes closed, you now have users that are posting questionable content, which is then putting pressure on you from advertisers, which by the way pays your bills, as well as a myriad of other content creators telling you that you need to take care of this quickly. Now let's be honest, you can go ahead and open your eyes. If you owned YouTube and you had that scenario, you would honestly be cracking down pretty massively also. You would then begin to see community guidelines being enhanced quickly and often, which is what we've seen since the clock struck 12 on 2019. You will see advertisers being picky and choosy and YouTube having to go along with them. Then you will begin to see YouTube really acting quickly and swiftly on content that has copyrighted material because they have to make a profit if they want to be around for another 10 years. And then you have what creators have come to call the adpocalypse, and they blame YouTube for it. So having said all of that about Article 11, Article 13, and the adpocalypse as a result of those two articles, let's not take the victim mentality on this one, you guys, and let's assume that YouTube is dealing with stuff that's just out of their control. But let's talk about what we can do as creators to better navigate the platform as it is today. But before we do that, let's go down memory lane. Ooh, there's a rant coming your way. Just a little bit, and let's discuss what we were all thinking whenever Logan Paul this time last year released the suicide video, the infamous suicide video. The entire internet was in an uproar over this thing, you guys, and they were talking about why YouTube was not. I mean, why the hell would YouTube not be promoting family-friendly content? I mean, they need to do that here. And I'm not blaming you. I was one of them, and I still have that stance. Well, 1 year ago, we were saying that stuff, and it was all over Twitter. It was all over YouTube. We all have videos in our archive that talk about it, right? Now YouTube is forced to crack down, and they are honestly doing the best job that they can with the Article 11, Article 13 passing, ultimately forcing us creators to create family-friendly content. So we have two options that I can see. Either we can sit here and complain that YouTube is changing guidelines and it's becoming a little bit more tricky to release content and not get penalized, or we can follow up with what we were demanding the Logan Pauls on the platform would do, which is create content that's safe for all ages to watch. Now that I've ranted a little bit, and yes, I did go off script. Last year, YouTube heard our cries for family-friendly content, and now they are helping us create it by the only way that they have available to them, which is being more strict on their guidelines. So now it's up to us to follow through on that. If this is triggering you and this is too direct, go to your happy place. Happy place. But now that I'm off my soapbox, I'm gonna go ahead and share with you a couple of places that I get my royalty-free stuff so you can avoid any copyright strikes. First, let's dive into royalty-free music for your videos. And so for this, I have two suggestions. The first one is YouTube Music, and this is available to all of us, and they have hundreds, and I mean hundreds of tracks on there that are really kind of cool. And it's listed if it needs an attribution in the description, which is basically, you know, copy and paste the text they give you in the description, and no copyright strikes will be done to you. I mean, it's great. In fact, guys, the music to this video right now was taken from YouTube Music. The second site for royalty-free music that I like to go to is Incompetech. This guy has an amazing website with, again, literally hundreds of tracks that I've used over and over and over again. He does require you to sign up, and he gives you a little slip of paper, a little PDF that tells you that you have the right to use the music, but I've never had any problem with it. But I do have the PDF, so I do recommend keeping that for your records. A little bonus tip as far as sound effects and music: if you use Final Cut Pro for your editing software, which is what I have, it comes with music and sound effects already built in. Which, by the way, I'm not sure if you know this, but all the sound effects for this little clip was taken from Final Cut Pro. So moving on from that, Article 13 deals with copyrighted material, and that includes both music and B-roll. And so there's a couple of websites for B-roll that I'm going to recommend to you as well. One of my favorites is Pixabay. It has beautiful beautiful B-roll that you can use that I have honestly used for a lot of my videos as well. Another one that's very similar to that is Pixels. Now this is a really cool site because it not only offers video clips, but it also offers stock images if you want to use that for your thumbnails. Which reminds me, the updated guidelines here on YouTube not only considers content itself for copyrighted material, it also considers titles, it considers descriptions, and it considers thumbnails in their evaluation. So use these services to help beef up your thumbnail so that it has family-friendly content within the imagery of your channel as well. Now, another thing I want to share with you, never mind. I'm just kidding. Yeah, I'm done.